Welcome to the Stay Paid podcast, where we help agents and entrepreneurs master the latest business trends to unlock growth and create a life of freedom. Brought to you by Reminder Media.
Welcome to Stay Paid. My name is Joshua Stike.
And I'm Luke Acree.
There we go.
There we go.
And before we bring on our panel of guests today, we would love it if you take a minute to subscribe to Stay Paid on Apple Podcast or Spotify or YouTube. And while you're there, drop us a review and a comment. We would love to read it here on the show. Joining us again this week is from the beautiful city of Lynchburg, Virginia, one of the top rated cities in the country to move to. And they
That's
are
right. 100.
You're 100 on the top?
Yeah, top 100. Yeah,
Top 100.
number 100. Yeah.
You barely made it. No.
Stephen leads the number one real estate team in Lynchburg, Virginia, Stephen Acree, and then his director of sales, Cody Smith. Welcome, guys.
Thank you.
And joining us finally on the podcast, this is someone we've been wanting to get on the show for a very long time. He is the man, the myth, the legend himself, the genius behind your favorite page on Instagram, Actually Agents, Mr. Luca Alberetti. Welcome.
Thanks for having me, guys. Good morning.
Good morning, man. Luca, we are excited to have you on. You know, you're one of the kings of memes. We've had, I call it the counterpart, was your competition, but you guys have kind of joined together, I feel like, the broke agent, Eric there, to really, take it to the next level with BAM. But excited to hear your thoughts on, like, you're crushing the real estate content game. You've translated that into a community that you're doing masterminds with, and excited to pick your brain on that transition. But I would love for you to kind of share your story a little bit, your background with the audience for those who don't know of the Actually Agent. And if you don't know, go follow on Instagram right now, the Actually Agent. But share a little bit of your background.
I appreciate it, man. So I got licensed when I was 20 years old. My grandfather had started a brokerage that had a pretty good run up, 2005 to 2008. And then, something bad happened in 2008 and real estate got a lot more difficult. And I was kind of not really loving college. So we kind of threw the idea out there. He's like, oh, come get licensed. It's a good career, blah, 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 blah. Now, all I had known from real estate was what I saw on TV, people driving BMWs, suits. My grandfather, he had a great life. So I'm like, okay, I'm getting thrown a bone here. But where I was looking at it as an opportunity, he was looking at me sitting across from the dinner table, and he was seeing his exit strategy. He wanted to retire, didn't know what to do. If you've ever owned a team or brokerage, it's not an easy sale, especially if you're a franchise. You got to roll into another franchise. So he got me in there, and I just started, absorbing everything all about the industry. And I was increasingly frustrated because while I had all the responsibilities of ownership and control, I had none of the benefits. I had none of the empowerment to make the decisions. My grandfather, God bless him, one of the smartest people I know, but the age gap and what I was seeing with social media, it's very hard to convince somebody that, hey, this thing that you don't like, but a lot of other people like it, and we should, pivot a huge part of our budget and our business into this arena that you don't understand, right? So I wasn't empowered to make those decisions. And anyway, brokerage went good. The market was coming back up, and then inevitably he decided to sell it in December of 2019. And yeah, we had a couple of silent partners. They wanted to take a more active role. Sold the brokerage to them. Everybody had kind of just assumed that I would stay on doing the same thing, but they, I really just had my main incentive rug pulled out from under me that, one day.
Did you know he was going to sell it, or did you know he was going to sell it, or is it kind of a surprise to you?
Yeah, it was really a surprise. My grandfather's one of those guys where when he doesn't sit on a decision. If he gets an idea in his head that he wants to do something, he doesn't waffle on it for months. He goes and tries and makes it happen. That's why he's so fantastic. And, whether or not I thought it was fantastic that he sold it, debatable, right? Debatable. At the time it wasn't so great. 5 years on, probably one of the best decisions that ever happened to me that was outside of my control. He sold it. They thought I was going to stay on board. I had been running Actually Agents as like a side hustle thing. I don't know what the hell I'm going to do with it. We had like 10,000 followers, and it was actually Tom Ferry. Tom Ferry posted on his Instagram, and mind you, I was a small account at this time. He said, does anybody need a 30-minute free call or blah, 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 or whatever? And I said, yeah, Tom, I would love it, please. And I got into a Zoom call with him, and it was like a 30-minute call, or was supposed to be 15 minutes. He gave me an hour. And I told him, I said, here's this situation. Here's what I'm doing. I have this page. I know there's something here. I don't know where to take it. I'm being held back over here. And Tom basically said, yeah, go forward and stop, trying to please people who have their own interests in mind. And the rest is kind of history from there. We really went full in on the content. COVID hit. Everyone was inside. I had a real big opportunity to blow it up. We started a lead generation company, which we've since exited from. And yeah, we have our Discord community now, and things are just going along really nice. So my grandfather, selling the brokerage actually in the end turned out to be a really, really great thing for me. And that's the short story, I guess.
Love it. It's like the Tim McGraw song. Is it Tim McGraw? Thank God for unanswered prayers. Something like that. Take you to country. I'm looking at Josh. Josh doesn't listen to country at all. I love me some country
that's a Tim
music.
McGraw. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. So I'm curious because you're doing content, right? And it's you mentioned in there, which I wasn't familiar with, the lead gen company. Like, how do you actually make money doing content? Like, if you're not, I'm assuming you're not selling real estate anymore, based upon what we had talked about a little bit. So, like, how do you actually make money through content? What's the whole goal of the Actually Agents and the Discord community that you're doing?
Yeah, I think a lot of people who've never done content creation, they think that these platforms are paying a ton of money. YouTube pays good. If you have a general appeal, broad niche, you can get millions of views. Real estate on YouTube also kind of pays good if, again, the content is broad appeal, not niche, something that can rack up millions of views, like property tours. I don't know, like Eric Conover, Ryan Serhant, they all do great on that. Instagram, I am celebrating because as of 3 days ago, guys, I got my first paycheck from Instagram.
Let's
after
go.
5 years of work, 3,000 posts, shadow banned, crying. My first check ever, and it was $27.
Let me do that math.
5 years.
27 divided by 3,000. What'd you get paid per post?
$5 a year. Yeah.
Yeah, it was bad. So really, I don't view the content as the product. The content's really just the marketing and what gets us eyeballs. And then the question is, what do we promote with those eyeballs and those attention spans, right? Because I'm not making money off the views. My page does extremely well for the real estate niche because I make that broad humor. So we get millions of views. But really, it's about redirecting that traffic, making the content the top of funnel, and how do we convert these random accounts that are just a statistic in the insights, and how do we turn them into an email address? That's our whole goal. How do we turn them into email addresses, right? Which I think is an ethos that transfers into a variety of industries, not least among them residential real estate sales.
Agree. Yeah. Can we stay on that a little bit and go a little deeper into this idea of email? Everybody wants to get their followers to raise their hand or to take action and enter an email address. What have you found that has generated people either being hand raisers or email addresses? What's kind of your thought process to get people to take action?
Yeah, really. And this isn't groundbreaking. A lot of people talk about it, but getting somebody's email or contact information is just a value exchange, right? Offer them enough good value that they're willing to give up their email address. And the greatest thing, real estate agents, they're a little more conscious of it, but for the vast majority of people, they don't put the value on their email address that they should assign to their email address as a piece of personal identifying information. A lot of people, they're hesitant to give you their cell phone number. You'll never get their home address out of them, right? But their email address, Sure, no problem. They throw it away, not knowing that on the back end, and we can get into this, but if I have your email address, I can push direct targeted ads to you, right? I can do a lot of stuff with your email address that isn't just you getting an email in your inbox, right? It's an identifying marker on the web. So getting their email address is for us, ebooks, the Discord. We're constantly promoting the Discord. It's free. There's free trainings. There's free education. There's free referrals. I mean, agents have gotten tens of thousands of dollars worth of business from our free Discord. Like, wow. Would you not give me your email address to gain access to that? Right? I'm charging you no money otherwise. That's a pretty damn good value exchange, right?
Yeah.
So that's it. Just provide value, get their email address, and then hit them with affiliate deals.
And the other like value behind the email address is like you own that. And I think that's what you're hitting on, Luke, is like you don't own Facebook's ad platform. That could go away at any point. Google has laid the Google slap multiple times. You'll lose your ability to target who you want to target, when you want to target. But having that email address is something that you actually own, you know, from that point forward and have control. And so let's stay on the Instagram train here, because this article came from Lindsay Joe. She shared this over at nowbam.com. She had a call with Meta. So they reached out to her, Meta did, and wanted to do a strategy call. And they'll do this.
Did Mark reach out or?
Yeah, just specifically. And they'll message you. So if you see this, if you have like a creator account or business account, occasionally they will do it. And it's worth jumping on a call because you can ask them specific questions about your specific needs and how you're trying to post content. I used to be extremely skeptical of these and would ignore them, and then actually started taking some and found a lot of value in it. Here's 4 insider tips that she talks about. Really, they're kind of myths, I guess, that are busted here, that she had learned directly from her Meta strategy call. So the first one we'll talk about here is Threads. So if you haven't tried Threads yet, there's a kind of a theory that using Threads will actually help boost your exposure. That is a myth. So contrary to popular belief, Instagram does not reward users who consistently use Threads by recommending their content.
Are you on Threads, Luca? Are you on Threads?
I was on Threads for about 2 weeks.
Yeah,
and
same
the
here.
engagement dropped off, and I said, man, I really love Twitter a lot.
Yeah, I'm a fan of Elon Musk. I like Twitter more, but I'm really on neither. But I was on Threads probably a week, 2 weeks, and then I got off. Are you guys on Threads, Steven, or no?
Yeah, we are, but we just never use it.
Yeah, it's the same thing. I was like, okay, maybe if it becomes popular, we'll switch. But then no one uses it. So
I think that's everybody, because Instagram always gets me to click a thread when I see it in there. But then when I look at the comments, there's absolutely zero engagement there.
Yeah, they do a good job. Instagram does a good job promoting the content on Threads to you within the Instagram platform, because I found myself doing that too.
I was shocked by that myth, because I was like, I would expect you to want to boost Threads up, so I thought it would. So that's a good little nugget there.
Yep.
Don't get it.
The issue with Threads is there's been the Instagram Twitter divide for so long that if you're in the camp who likes image-based entertainment, you're already using Instagram, and if you're in the camp who likes text-based entertainment and content, you're probably already using Twitter, right?
Yeah.
And their main marketing avenue for Threads, which is text-based content, is them plastering it all over a platform which is promoting image-based content. Yep. So I'm not surprised they struggle with it, and I don't use it anymore, to be honest. So it's good to hear that I'm not negatively affecting myself through my indifference.
There you go.
And I would say like clients, I think like Instagram more from what I've seen, like the stories and the videos, but like Twitter is better for like engaging other agents. Like that's what I would see, like from what I've seen with people.
All right, number 2, Instagram. How many times should you be posting a week? They recommend 3 to 5 posts per week, emphasizing quality over quantity. So contrary to a lot of the advice out there, you do not have to post 5 or 6 times a day. Luca, what are you seeing in terms of quality versus quantity? Does that 3 to 5 times per week make sense? Because you've got 200,000 followers on Instagram?
200,000 followers. I have a lot of reels that have gone multi-million views. I'm like a every 3 days type person. I've been doing that for 3 or 4 months. I actually talked with Eric from the Broke Agent about this when we first buried the hatchet and we started working together and rowing the boat in the same direction. And he'll tell you the story is that he was posting like 3 times a day because he thought he had to outpost me. And meanwhile, I'm posting, once every 3 days, racking up the same amount of views in the same time period, just because I'm only giving Instagram one thing to push, right? So I like less is more, but only once you've discovered your content strategy. If you've discovered the content that works, right, you can invest a lot of time, money, and effort into making another piece of content in that similar vein that works, right? Early on, if you're just starting, you don't know what content works for your page, what audience you're even trying to build. It is post as much as possible, throw stuff at the wall, humor, serious stuff, education. Hopefully you know who you're trying to target, and then let the algorithm do the rest of the work.
And then you would basically look at that. I'm just curious for myself. You would look at the engagement of views and comments, saves, all that stuff to be an indicator of, oh, this is what my audience wants, or this is what's working. Do more of that.
Yep, do more of that. Something I don't talk about, but I kind of run a boutique social media agency.
Okay.
Where I help brand. I don't really promote it to real estate agents because how do I say this diplomatically? Residential real estate agents specifically are to work with as clients. Sorry to curse. I don't know if this is it, but they suck. They suck. If you're selling them a lead gen system, they want a slot machine where they put $1 in and $10 come out every single time. And if that $10 is ever $9, you messed up at your job. Like, that's like the mentality.
I've never felt closer to you in my life, Luca.
Yeah, they can't think
of hatred towards
Hey, we want to make money, okay?
I'm sorry. Listen, all due respect to every residential real estate agent listening to this, but there's a reason the burnout rate in the industry is so high. Every coach talks about it. People get in with one expectation and the reality doesn't meet it, whatever. But the reason the burnout is so high, I think, is because they can't look farther than one deal ahead. Mm-hmm. Right. That's why we see people on the sales roller coaster, the feast or famine cycle, whatever you want to say. They can't look one deal ahead, and they can't do the numbers because they're only looking the next 2 months, and they're not thinking about it for the next year, and then going back and looking and saying, well, yeah, this really gave me, a 2-to-1 ROI or what. They're just not thinking in those time horizons. So anything that's effective is really going to take months to do. And these guys are giving up after 3 weeks.
Yeah, the concept of floating tens of thousands of dollars in the real estate industry, and I understand why they don't have that money, but it's like that is like a foreign concept. The idea of you're going to spend 20 grand in a year and not get anything from it, but you actually are going to get something from it the next following year because you've done all the investment. That's like a foreign concept in real estate for some reason versus every other business that is basically a business that's trying to grow. They'll put out that type of money all the time. They'll spend 10 grand all the time to build their brand, to do something. And ultimately they play the long game, which helps them win.
Yeah. So the reason I bring this all up is because we do work with brands, and we're taking a paid approach, content forward, but paid approach for at least advertising. And a lot of people are saying, hey, if you don't ever. This is what I love. Social media coaches, they're like, don't ever touch that boost button on Instagram. Go do it on the Meta back end, the business back end.
Yeah.
Get your content sorted. Figure out 3 or 4 different content styles. Start posting. Do a broad-based boost because Instagram, A, wants to give you engagements, and B, they want to, in order to give you engagements, they need to put it in front of people who enjoy your content, right? So get an ad budget, $1,000, $2,000, whatever, broad boost, and start boosting posts, see what performs well, dive deeper into that content, keep boosting, get your per follower costs down to, 10 cents, 11 cents. Again, this is requiring money up front. So residential real estate agents, vast majority are never going to do it. And then once you kind of have a couple thousand good followers, and you've let the algorithm decide who your followers should be based on the content that you promote, then start hitting the reels. And that's how you get them to go mega viral.
That's
and then
pretty
on the
genius,
reels, have a content call to action strategy. Ask for the follows. Ask for the business, right? Follows are worthless, but we'll call it the business. And that's how you take a page from 0 to 100,000, and people are doing it over and over and over again. And the social media coaches that most real estate agents are swallowing their content hook, line, and sinker is they're like, avoid boosting your posts. But the Instagram algorithm, you're going to end up relying on the algorithm to push your content anyway, right? Mm-hmm. So why not build the base of your audience with who the Instagram algorithm feels would engage with your content, and your content dictates the audience, right?
Love it.
That's so good, dude. I've never heard that before.
That's great. All right, number 3 here in the article is about collaborations. So this is another myth I think that we actually fell into for a little bit, this idea of when collaborating.
We fall into all the myths.
You should wait to accept the collaboration, the thought process there.
Because when he said, sorry to cut you off, but when he said, don't use the boost, I was like, yeah, I've heard that before from multiple people.
Yeah.
When collaborating, the bigger account should post first, and the smaller account should accept the collaboration request immediately. The smaller account should not wait to accept the request.
Wait, that is a myth, or that is true?
No, it's saying that the smaller account should not wait to accept it. They should accept it immediately.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Yeah.
That's the truth.
Okay, that's the truth.
Strategy.
Okay, well, the myth. What is the myth that we fell into?
We would wait. We had this idea that if somebody posted first and then that got some juice and then the collaborator accepted, it would get a second round
I got you. A second lift.
Yeah, second lift.
Yeah. Well, I'm doing a ton of collaborations with BAM now, and those are going really well.
Yeah.
Like, those are probably my best reels because their audience obviously is so much bigger. But those are so much better. But I mean, we're accepting right away, so I can't judge the myth. I'm going to actually wait on the next one to actually test and see if I get just as many.
Risk.
Yeah, it's worth the risk to actually challenge the article. Do you do a lot of collaborations, Luca, or no?
I do a ton with Eric now.
Okay.
It's almost kind of too big of a risk for me to do it with a smaller creator.
Yep.
And I say risk in that it doesn't cost me anything to do a collab, but the issue is I don't want to collab with a small creator and they think it's going to just absolutely blow up and this is the best day in the world, and then it flops, and that's a tough conversation, and I don't like having flops on my page, really.
Yeah.
Not that I really care.
What would you
so
consider a flop
funny.
in terms of like a ratio, and like what do you tend to see ratio of views, or maybe I don't know if you know that or not, but like to your following, would like 20,000 views be a normal real view, or like what's your
normal for me is like 100,000 views.
Okay.
Right. There's below average. I can let a below average sit, but there are some posts where you just know, like I can tell pretty much within the first 10 minutes on regular posts, whether a post is going to perform really well or do really bad. And I can tell within, 20 minutes whether or not I'm going to have to pull a post because I have nothing to confirm, but sometimes I feel like you're only as good as your last post, and I don't want something with like 80 likes. The moment something has 80 likes and I have 200,000 followers and it's like 6 hours at 80 likes because the algorithm's absolutely throttling it, it calls into question everything about my entire brand. Which sucks. It's like, oh, he only has 80 likes on this post. Is he faking engagements over here or over there? And really, it's just because I used the word "kill" in the post. This happened on Easter. Had a great post, would have gone mega viral. Little bit of Christian humor in there, but I used the word "kill," and because I used the word "kill," I said a no word. I committed thought crime. They throttled the post, so I never want to deal with that.
So you'll actually
Eric, we do collabs, and most of them flop because Eric's content sucks.
That's the clip, Ethan.
Clip it up and
Tag,
send it.
Yeah, tag the broke agent in
I
that.
love
Yeah.
it, man.
All right, number 4 here on the list has to do with hashtags. Meta recommends 3 to 5 targeted hashtags per post, with the key being specific hashtags related to the content of your post rather than general ones like, I don't know, we've seen like hashtag explore, hashtag FYP, which is like a TikTok For You page thing, hashtag reels. What are you seeing in terms of hashtags, Luca?
They go in and out of style, and right now I'm finding that they are in style. So I use the same kind of mix of hashtags over and over again. I like to use one small, one medium, one large. I don't even know if it still works, but back when I first started, if you were using hashtags, you wanted small, medium, and large because you could trend on the small ones, which would get you trending on the medium ones, which would get you trending on the large ones.
Small meaning small in volume of people using that same hashtag? Okay.
Yeah, like maybe small would be, 100,000 posts. Maybe that's your local market, right?
Okay.
The local municipality, county, state, right? National. If you want to break it up like that, if you want to do geographic area, but small posts, medium posts, large posts. So like realtors. That'd be a really big, that's high volume. I think it's 3.3 million posts under realtors. National appeal, anyone who's a realtor will use that one. New York real estate, right? That's my medium one. It's like got 500,000 posts under it. And then the small one would be like realtor humor. Very niche. It's like a niche down of the broader one, right? But regardless of whether small, medium, large, I don't know. They don't give you a breakdown of this hashtag got you this traffic and this hashtag. I just know that I'm getting traffic using hashtags, so they're not hurting, right?
Do you find like with the hashtags or when you're tracking, like you're out of, basically the people who viewed your reel or viewed your content that are non-followers, what's your ratio of non-follower engagement that you try to shoot for that you see?
I'm really not shooting for engagement numbers.
Okay.
Or what I wish I was that structured, but I'm not. I'm really just trying to make a funny post and like think about the content first. But like the mega viral ones, it'll have like 7%.
Okay.
7% of my followers, and it's like 93%.
Wow. So it's majority
today.
non. Okay.
Yeah, that's like a mega viral great post.
Okay.
Right. And then the flops, I'll always see. It'll be like 99% of my following saw it.
Okay.
Not 99% of my entire following, but of the people who viewed it, 99% were my followers. That just tells me, okay, they're not sharing this with anybody for whatever reason.
Do you believe you can be shadow banned without it saying that you're shadow banned?
100%.
Yeah. So
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so too.
I mean, you can tell, go into a burner account, do the search function, see if you pop up there. I don't track it, but I look, it's like a vanity. like I don't measure how long my hair is, but I notice when it's thinning. Okay. I track it in this sense, but I'll go from a second account and see, all right, if I type actually where am I moving on that list? And actually autistic is completely beating me out and upsets me.
And that's been a change? Like that's changed over time?
Oh yeah, I'll go from 3 to 1 to 2.
Dude, that's
really
interesting.
I had one reel do. God, this must have been last summer already, or 5-6. Did something like 30 million views, 1.2 million likes. And while that one was still getting the algo juice, I was top of that search list.
Wow.
The whole time. So
all because you said kill on Easter.
Yeah.
Because I said kill on Easter, or I posted a too spicy meme.
Too spicy of a meme. There you go.
Too spicy of a meme. Yeah.
I got to ask before we move on to sales strategy of the week.
Yeah.
How do you come up with the content? Like what sparks the creativity? Were you a comedian beforehand, or do you is that your vein from, watching comedy, stuff like that? Or does it just come to you naturally? How do you think about content?
Well, Luke, some of us don't have a chiseled jawline, so we have to develop a personality. Imagine that. Imagine that, Luke.
I've never been complimented on my jawline. Yeah, there you go.
No, I was always the class clown, man. It just happened. I was the class clown, and honestly, running the brokerage, I got thrown into the deep end so fast. I mean, think about it. I went from couldn't even legally drink, got my license, and I thought I'd take it like a year or two slow of building my real estate business. But my grandfather, he was in a rush to get out the door, right? So he just threw me in there. So suddenly I'm a 20-year-old kid and I have to, quote unquote, be the boss or whatever. Do the speeches at the Christmas party and the events and like talking to the vendor. I really got up to speed really quick with public speaking and being okay talking to people who maybe, would be above my weight class, so to speak. Right. And I always found that humor really knows no age limit. And if there was somebody I was trying to impress, my whole goal was like, how can I get this guy to laugh at something? Because if I can get him to laugh at something, I can learn a little bit about their personality and do whatever the relationship requires,
That's awesome.
And how do you stay updated with content with that too? Because you're not in real estate, but obviously like you're very in with it. So how do you stay up with the content that way?
Yeah, well, I stay grounded through our Discord. So we have a couple recurring events on our Discord. So I run a free Discord for real estate agents, which the genesis of that is its own funny story. But basically, we got 9,500 real estate agents on a Discord. For those who are unfamiliar with Discord, it's a mix between AOL chat rooms, a Zoom meeting, and a Facebook group, all kind of combined together. So we have a mastermind every single week, and I'm talking to agents constantly. Big focus of our mastermind is like, what are you struggling with? How can the group help? So I'm learning about, these are the problems that agents are facing in this current market. And even though I'm not personally experiencing them because I don't really touch residential anymore, I get a good sense of it just because it keeps me grounded in the space, because I hear from agents across the country and from stuff like this. I talk to guys like you, right? People who are more involved than I am.
Love it.
Awesome.
How did you pick Discord? Like, Discord is an interesting platform. It got to skew younger, right?
Yes. It was 2020. A guy named Roaring Kitty started telling the world about GameStop.
He's back.
I said,
Kitty's back.
he's back, and then he left again, and he left us all holding the bag. But I didn't get involved this time.
Did you lose on GameStop or did you win?
Oh my God, I lost
Sounds
like
hurt there.
50 grand on GameStop. It was miserable. But I gained something priceless, which was our Discord. So GameStop was popping off. I had been using Discord because I've been into crypto since like junior year of high school.
Oh,
Over
dang,
a decade
dude.
now. I've been into crypto.
So you're like one of those crypto mega millionaires, secret.
No, everyone always says that. I never learned how to hold, right? Like Bitcoin hit $1,000, and I was buying Bitcoin at like 50 cents, and it hits $1,000.
Oh my gosh,
it hits $1,000. I'm like, what the fuck, man? Like, this is amazing. And I was
You could be on a
college kid,
yacht
so-
right now, dude.
Yeah, you can imagine how much of that Bitcoin money goes in your lungs or up your nose when you're in college,
Oh
right?
gosh.
But anyway, I was really into crypto, and I'd gotten into NFTs and all these, and we're not going to talk about crypto NFT stuff, but all these NFT projects organized on Discord. So I was familiar with the platform, and I had just gotten involved in GameStop, and I was making GameStop memes, the Venn diagram of GameStop real estate, that was the hot content right then. And I realized, like, oh my God, it's really hitting with my audience. These guys are freaking degenerates. They must be invested in GameStop. I said, if only there was a way that I could gather all these people in one spot to do no work and watch the chart all day. And thus the Discord was born. And we had a young guy. I just started it to watch the GameStop chart, right? It was like 4 or 5 days of fun. And I had a young guy approach me and he said, hey, I'm thinking about getting my real estate license. I think you could turn this into a real estate community. And I like waved him off because I was losing my ass on GameStop. I'm like, yeah, maybe one day. And he just kept pushing me. He's like, dude, you have a couple hundred people in here. Like, let's do events. Let's do masterminds, yada, yada, yada. And I said, cool, let's do it. And that's how it started. We started the events. That guy, he went on to get his real estate license. But then, I mean, he's just such a terrific, talented programmer. He's like chief software engineer at my buddy's marketing agency now. Probably doing better than anybody selling real estate right now. And that's how I met Ryan Foreman too, who connected us.
Yeah, Ryan's
Foreman,
amazing.
I didn't know how to stream the GameStop chart, and he wasn't even a mortgage broker then. And he streamed it for us, and he started helping me out.
Yeah,
and
he's
now,
a stud.
Now he's doing his thing and killing it. So I lucked out that in the first week of this Discord, there were 2 young, hungry guys who raised their hand and said, hey, we want to help around here. And now they're both doing like way better than me. Right.
Yeah.
So, and those success stories in the Discord keep the
awesome,
community
man.
together. And I want to go, like, I'm looking at schools, Hormozy's thing, which I don't know if you guys are aware of. He's got like a learning platform that acquisitions.com invested in. I'm looking at that, but it's hard to change those horses mid-race, switch a whole new platform over.
No, I think it's super. I mean, you're definitely ahead of the curve there. I'm seeing more and more, general usage of Discord now, 3 years later I remember you were one of the first guys I remember seeing on there, especially in the real estate space. So, all right, let's go ahead.
Go ahead. To cut you off. Once I did it though, a bunch of people started a Discord.
Yeah.
And then they just abandoned it because they never focused on building the actual community base. Right. They just wanted it a place for their existing community. They never made it its own thing. Yeah. Right.
All right. Let's go over the sales strategy of the week. Oh, yeah.
Dang,
You got the
nice
music.
music, Ethan.
All right, Luke, what do we got for the sales strategy of the week?
Sales strategy of the week. So, Steven, you guys just did a dial night. I'm interested, Luca, if you ever did cold calling and stuff. I think you did if I, watch some of that stuff, your content. But so we do a bunch of cold calling here. So we have a bunch of people on the phones calling all day. Steven, I know you guys just did an appointment night. Sales strategy of the week is double dial and follow up with the text message. Most people, they dial once and they move on. And if you dial once, did you really even want to get them on the phone? Or did you just want to make yourself feel good by hitting a dial and them not answering double dial, even triple dial? It's proven to increase your contact rate by 18%. But more importantly than the double dial, the real strategy I want you to take advantage of is I want you to text the lead. And I want you to go, Luke, ? Or is this Luke? ? And they will respond, yes, who is this? Calling you now. That's how you respond. And so I want you to try that. That is a text message and call strategy that I know, Steven, you guys implement. That's something we implement. I think it can help your engagement. And what good is a lead if you never talk to the lead? So I don't know, Steven, if you have had experience with seeing that increase, not only for you, but for your agents. But that is the sales strategy of the week.
Yeah, I think triple dial too now is what I'm doing more of, because it's just like you get to a point where you're like, look, I'm not making any money if they don't pick up the phone and have a conversation. So you get to that point where you're just like, I don't care. I just want to get on the phone with them. I just want to win. And
5 years from now, it's going to be the 10X dial.
Yeah, which we do triple and
hit them 10 times now. But yeah,
the biggest thing with that too is like most people don't have your number. But if you call, I've literally had someone answer and said, the only reason I picked up is because you called twice. Like my son was like, spams don't call twice. So you should answer the second one. So that was the changer for me and mindset. It's like, as soon as I heard that, I was like, there's no doubt you should always be double down.
And you were like, and it's your lucky day. I'm not spam. I'm here to help you find a home.
Yep. That's 100%. No, seriously. It was a great conversation from there. And cause and that kind of broke the ice.
Why do you think agents don't do it though? Like even my callers sometimes won't do it.
Yeah, I think they're in fear of what the person's going to say when they, get on the phone. And I think you just got to know, that's what you have to know, your intrinsic value. If you're not educating yourself and you you are the one that has the knowledge that they need on the other end. If you don't believe that, then it's hard, to do that triple dial.
Yeah, the reason you don't is a feeling.
Yeah.
You don't, you're scared, or you're like, shoot, they don't want to, you start having all these thoughts of like, this person doesn't want to talk to me. It's the same reason why you don't follow up sometimes, because like, oh man, I don't know what I'm going to say, or man, they probably don't want to answer because they hate me. And then when you have that conversation, you're like, man, that was all in my head. It's all in your head. It's all a feeling. It's why you don't do it.
Yeah. So Luca, you've cold called before?
Oh yeah.
I love it, dude.
Oh yeah, I've put my hours in on the phone. You know why I think people don't double dial? Because they actually feel relief when they don't get an answer.
Yeah.
And they don't fight that feeling of relief. Right?
Agree, man.
And I think that comes from their objective too. We talk about this in the mastermind. I've started holding our community like more accountable. Give me something to hold you accountable with. Next mastermind, I'll check in on you, see if you did it. And I noticed a common thread when I'm telling people, all right, or asking people, what are you gonna do this week? Or what do you want to get started for your business? And they say cold calling. I say, okay, cold calling's great, but give me something actionable that you can hit. And 9 times out of 10, what they say is, I want to make 100 dials a day, right? Mm-hmm. So their whole objective is to just get through 100 dials. And a no pickup, guess what? They just got closer to completing their objective, even if it didn't do anything to push the ball forward. So I flip it on them and say, well, your goal isn't 100 dials. Your goal is to talk to 20 people.
Yeah, conversation. Yeah.
Conversations, right?
Yeah, so goal is a huge one, and then being surrounded by other people that are doing it too. So that's with our teams, like why you do the call nights, like you're with other people doing the same thing. That you make that second call just because you're surrounded by it, or it's like, hey, it's about the money. It's not about me feeling relief.
Yep.
Well, a time's coming where you won't have to make cold calls anymore because your AI bot will do it for you. But that's a whole nother podcast, ladies and gentlemen.
Next week on Stay Paid.
Yeah,
Stephen
exactly.
Cody, thank you so much for joining us again today.
You're welcome.
Of course. Man, it was great hearing from you, man. You could tell how smart you are.
Yep.
Holy
Okay,
cow, and
he's
your
not
personality.
he's not that smart, guys. Don't praise him that much. Come on.
Yeah.
Luca, thanks for coming on the show. Before we close out, let people know how they can connect with you.
Yeah, at Actually Agents on Instagram. If you like humorous real estate content, if you do not follow me. I don't want your lack of engagement. And links for everything is in there on the Discord.
Let's
All
go.
that good stuff.
Thank you so much again. And thank you all for listening. You can dive deeper to this episode, get the show notes in the description of this episode, or you can get all of our episodes over at staypaidpodcast.com. Find out how to follow along with us there as well. All right, the dad joke of the week. What do you call a criminal landing an airplane? What do you call it? Condescending. Condescending.
Oh, God.
Luca, can we hire you as a comedy writer? His dad jokes are getting worse every week.
People love them, though, dude. People love the dad jokes, my man.
That one was good.
All right.
That one was good.
Dude, that is the weakest
pity.
My
compliment.
bar's pretty low on your jokes there, Josh. That's what you wanted my first joke from you to be? That's the first impression on jokes?
I'm sorry.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't mean to. I'll get better next time. I'm going to work on this.
One in the chamber? You got
Gonna
one in the
workshop
chamber?
this.
Do I have one in the chamber like that?
Yeah,
No,
no.
my jokes are all long-winded with disappointing payoff.
And
All right.
no words that crush the algorithm.
No words. If you want to get a
no
hold of me or
words.
Luke, you can email us at podcast@remindermedia.com. And of course, you can follow us on social media as well. We are at Stay Paid Podcast. For this episode of Stay Paid, I'm Joshua Stike.
Guys, I'm Luke Acree. Luca, thank you so much for coming on, man. It was a blast. Learned a ton. Appreciate you, brother. Everybody go follow. So my action item for everybody, so you actually do something after listening to this podcast, is if you remember from the article, it said that Meta wants to see you posting 3 to 5 times a week. That is a very doable goal because stories count towards those posts. So there's your action item for the week. 3 to 5 post stories are counted. Remember, the difference between top producers and mediocre producers in every business is top producers take action. Take action on that today.